guys. No. I don't even know what to say. I don't know how to start. It's 5:05 in the morning and I'm covered in my own saliva that has been dyed with dye that tastes like old ballsack. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this because I'm doing it for you. Doing it for you. As you may or may not know, I'm in the Arda BFF competition, and this round's theme was zombies, and they suggested we do a zombie character instead of just a plain old zombie. And with the holidays coming up, I thought, why not Santa's helper elf thing? This thing keeps falling off, so ignore this dude. No, just whatever. So this is my second challenge that I'm wearing elf ears, but screw it. Let's make it a thing. I'll do all the challenges with elf ears, maybe. Don't quote me on that. So there might be voting. I think there's voting. I'm gonna put the link down below, so please vote for me. What else do I have to say? No, I'm not gonna say Merry Christmas! Okay, Merry Christmas. 'Cause I have to.
Okay, so let's get started. I've already secured on my elf ears with a little dab of Prozaid on the side of each ear. Now time to prep the skin. I'm using Dermalogica's Daily Moisture all over my face, then using the Skin Hydrating Booster to spread out the moisturizer. This prep is really important to protect my skin from all the products I'll be adding to it. Then I'm using the Dermalogica Ultra Smoothing Eye Serum all over my eye area. And it's been really dry here, so I'm making sure to use my Renewal Lip Complex to prep my lips. Now let's make a little elf nose. I'm using wax to sculpt it and Prozaid to glue it down. Apply the Prozaid and wait for it to dry. Then coat your fingers in petroleum jelly so that you can manipulate the wax without it sticking to you everywhere. I like to work little by little, grabbing a little lump of wax and placing it in the center. I then smoothed out the edges with a spatula. Make sure you warm up the wax between your fingers before you apply it. To really smooth out your edges, you can also coat your spatula in the petroleum jelly. And that's your nose! Now I'm just powdering it with some translucent powder to remove some of the tackiness from the wax. Now for the really fun part, we're going to work with silicone today, mixing part A and part B to make a final product. You'll want to mix them on a palette. See how part A is really runny? I'm grabbing some of that, cleaning off my spatula, but don't use the same spatula. Take another spatula and dip into part B. Look at the difference in texture to this one. Now that I've got the same quantities of part A and part B on my palette, I'm mixing them together well. Now using the spatula, I'm just smoothing it onto my nose. This just evens out any bumps I have in the wax, and it also gives it a better finish. I'm also prepping this sponge by cutting it into smaller pieces. I apply what's left of the silicone to my face and mix another batch. You'll always want to work in small batches because silicone cures very fast. Before it gets a chance to cure completely, take your coarse sponge and stipple it all over the edges to blend them out and give it a bit more texture. Otherwise, the silicone will look completely smooth and won't really look like skin. Next, I'm just breaking a candy cane in half and marking out the placement where it looks right. And maybe eat some of it in the process. Then do the same to the little baby candy cane. Next, I'm using Prozaid to attach the candy canes and building a structure around them with wax. The wax is really thick, so it will help hold the candy cane in place. It will also look like the damaged skin that the candy cane is perforating. Just shape the wax the same way that you did the nose. Smooth it out and make sure it's really snug to the candy canes. Warm it up in your fingers and add some more on if you need to. I also stippled the wax with a coarse sponge to give it some texture. Once the wax bases were created, I went in and coated them all with silicone. The silicone is really runny, so you'll want to work in layers. Once one layer has cured, you can go in with a second layer to build it up even more. That's how I also did the effects on my face. I just built up the layers to make it look really gruesome. Adding layers will give you more dimension and therefore more texture in the final look. I then started adding silicone to my orbital bone area to make my eyes look sunken in. And added more layers to where I already had applied silicone before. With the mouth area, I really wanted the lips to be distorted. I didn't want to have defined lips because I think that gives a zombie a more gruesome effect if you just see teeth as opposed to normal lips and then teeth. So you can really just go crazy and layer silicone in that area. There was actually a gap I wanted to fill in on the side candy cane, so I added a bit more wax and then some more silicone on top. I'm really just using the wax as a filler so that I don't have to waste tons of silicone. Once all the silicone work was done, I just lightly powdered it. Then with a gray Endura airbrush paint, I'm taking it in all the creases. You can use airbrush paints outside of an airbrush gun. Here, I just use my normal brushes. Whenever you want to bring out texture, use a dark color in all the creases. Here I'm using a small brush to apply it and a bigger brush to buff it out and really push it into the creases. Then I'm using the Endura Pale Dead color all over my face. I'm using very light brush strokes so that it doesn't get into the creases that I painted gray, making sure I apply it just superficially. The good thing about these airbrush paints is that you can also dilute it with some alcohol. I poured the color in a little cup and sprayed in some alcohol to make the color more transparent. Then I did the same thing with a gray and started shading my face and my neck. I want to make everything look sunken in, so really contour those cheekbones and that neck. Then using my WM Creations alcohol activated palette, I'm mixing the black and the blue to really get into the creases with a small brush. What I'm using isn't normal makeup, it's usually used in special effects. You use alcohol to activate it and it kind of acts like a watercolor. The more alcohol you put, the thinner the color will be. But once the alcohol dries, it stays put and does not come off. Next, I took the NYX SFX cream paint in black because I wanted some really thick coverage and just painted the tip of my nose. Then using some colors from the Ben Nye SFX grease paint palette, I started to paint around the black. This will give it the frostbitten effect. I also did the same thing on my ears. Make the tips black and then use pink and purples around the edges. Then I'm using a dark blue and purple in the inner corner of my eye and a pink under my eye and in the outer corner. I'm deepening the furrow and I'm also taking blue to blend out that pink. I also applied it on my eyelid and blended it out with some white. Then taking a dark red bruise tone from my alcohol activated palette, I stippled it on the darkened contours using a chip brush. I then went back with a black on a tiny brush and defined all the creases and textures a bit more. I also did some veining using a dark blue. Then added some frostbite to my chin. Also, don't forget to paint your ears to match. The paint job was missing some yellow tones, so I used a really pale skin tone from my alcohol activated palette. I took it on my tiny brush and used it to highlight all the creases. I really just used it on the high points. The yellow tone in this will contrast with the blue tone in the gray, really making it stand out. Now time to create some fake skin so I can peel it back using some liquid latex. I just poured a little bit into a little cup and applied using a Q-tip. I applied it around all the areas where I painted the frostbite effect. While that dried, I went in and darkened the mouth area. Once the latex isn't white anymore, that means it's dry and you can peel it back. Then for some more opaque coverage, I took my cream paint and darkened all my contours. I really made sure to darken around my temples and hairline. Then I applied the pale highlight color on my neck area as well. Since there was no silicone applied in this area, I applied the color with a tapping motion to give it texture. I also highlighted around my injuries to bring them out more. Then for some further highlighting, I went in with pure white on just a select few areas. I used it especially around the mouth and the injuries. I thought my eyes weren't messed up enough, so I used some more purples and reds on my lids and under them. Then I used the pale dead color under my eye to simulate the texture from the silicone. But be careful when using alcohol colors near your eyes. I would never use this on a client, but because I was doing it to myself, I was kind of pushing the boundaries of where I could go with the alcohol colors. Then I lined my waterline with a red pencil and used a black pencil in the inner and outer corners. Now I'm taking the Kryolan blood gel for some finishing touches. Look at how thick it is. It's great for applying in injuries and wounds. It isn't runny, so it'll just stay where you apply it, basically. I filled in the edges of the mouth, the frostbitten areas, and the candy cane wounds. I also painted some of the blood onto the candy cane as well. Then, using a lighter color blood, I applied it to some of the areas just to give it a bit of a runny texture and a redder color. Now, this was my favorite part and actually the whole reason behind this makeup. I really wanted to use this stuff. I'm using Ultra Ice Gel and Fake Snow and mixing them together to make an ice paste. The fake snow actually expands when you add water to it, but I really like the effect that it gave when I mixed it with the Ultra Ice Gel. As you can see, I'm really rubbing it into the hairs of my eyebrows and applying it to all the areas around the frostbite. I'm also really working it into my hair because it gives a really cool effect. Because my makeup was really pale, you can't really see the ice against it, so you can really see when it's against the hair, and I also did some on the candy canes themselves. I also added some fake ice around my temples and hairline because that area was darker so you can see the ice better. And don't forget your ears. I very carefully took some Pros-Aid and put it on the tips of my eyelashes. I also glued down some holly on my ears to hide the seams. Then I took some sugar and applied it to the ends of my eyelashes. Do not use the fake snow for this. If it falls into your eyes, it will expand with the moisture that's in your eyes and it will be very uncomfortable. Trust me, it happened to me. I also added some sugar on the areas that had the ice paste just to give it a different texture. Next, for the teeth, I am taking some yellow and black tooth enamel. First, you'll have to dry off your teeth really well and keep them dry. It's kind of uncomfortable, but it's the only way to do it. I painted the yellow enamel all over and spread it with my fingers. Then I diluted the black one with some alcohol and just brushed it all over. Then I darkened my eyelids with a black pencil and added some ice to the holly on my ears. Fit in the missing piece of your candy cane and you're done. Time to go scare some reindeer. Oh, but wait, there's also mouth blood, which actually wasn't as great as it seems.
So I'm gonna try this thing. Let's pray it goes well. I hope it doesn't taste bad either, but I don't want it to get all over the place. Hold on. It's not gonna end well. Oh. It's not popping. Oh, dude! It's not popping. I'm just chewing on this. Oh! 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 That's nasty. Oh! Oh, it tastes like balls. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, this is not a good idea.
Not get any on my shirt. I will
know.
kill you. Oh, that looks so gross.
It's just mixing with my spit, and it's just like...
It's a lot of dye.
It tastes like balls.
It tastes like balls.
Yeah, it's gross.
I like it.
Stop it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have nightmares. Stop it.
Oh, that's just my spit right now. That's just not even just a bloodbath. Yeah, it's gonna stain. It's already stained my hands. This is not fun. It still tastes like balls in here, but they gave us 2, so I'm gonna use the second one because, you know, I'm just gonna go here. Oh, okay, no. Hold on. Round 2. Oh, Jesus Christ. It still tastes like balls. Oh, what did they put in this thing? I feel like I'm on my period right now. This is really uncomfortable. Seriously, girls, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I am wrong. All kinds of no. Oh, there you go. Some more spit action for you. Oh, no. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm gonna go spit this out because this is gross. Hold on. Little alien baby's coming out. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Okay. And we're done. So I hope you appreciate the whatever this was, because yeah, I'm not doing that again ever. I guess that's it. I don't even know what to say right now. Merry Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, I guess. Happy Hanukkah. Ugh. I'm gonna spit this out. There's blood that went. Look at this. Oh, this looks so gross. This is cool. Sweet. So I guess that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye. I think I'm just gonna peel this off now.